Hello, we're live, everybody. Welcome to Keeping It Real with the Sisters of the Light. I'm Ann Keither, and I'm here with Terry Ann Russell.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, and I'm excited for tonight. We are talking paranormal. Woo! So I hope people get onto this one. This is a good one.
Yeah, I love this topic. I was looking through and I was trying to go back and look at my experiences, and they're all so crazy. Like, I mean, even aside, if you take away my son and spirit, even if you take away all of that, there we've had some crazy paranormal experiences.
I know. Oh, hello, Cherie.
Hi,
Hello.
Cherie.
I wish we had a badge for you. You're so good at being such a good little subscriber. Thank you so much. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
thank
Yeah.
you. So let's talk about it. So, paranormal. I was reading up a little bit on how often do you think paranormal experiences occur? Say out of
Um,
10, how many times do you think out of 10 that it occurs?
okay, so I want I want to say that it would be low, right? Or I want to say, how do I want to say? I want to say that probably because you're asking me that, it's higher than what I think. But I would want to say maybe I would give it a 3 is what I want to say. But because you're asking me that, it's like, oh, it's probably just crazy ridiculous. But I would say 3. You know what I mean? Because it can't happen all the time. I
You'd
don't
be
know.
surprised. I read 2 to 3 out of 10 times.
Really? Okay.
I
Okay.
really thought it would be much higher.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know
I
why I
think,
want to say 3. The only reason why I want to say like it was 3 is because of the fact because now with everybody having cell phones and all of that, right? We should be getting taping all the freaking time. Like it should just be out there like, you know how everybody still thinks that there is Bigfoot out there?
hmm
And yet I've been watching Bigfoot, sightings since I was a little girl. And I'm like, okay, but nowadays with all the cell phone technology, it's he hasn't been seen. He's not out there, people. He's just not out there. He was just a very hairy man that just was very tall, and somebody noticed him.
I don't know. I feel like he might be in another dimension.
You think so? Really?
When you
And
look at the dimensions,
you only think one of him? Like,
no, there's probably a whole community of them.
and what
I think people are afraid too. Look at me. I'm trying to clean up my
I know,
sweater.
but
I think people are afraid to talk about their experiences often, don't you? People are going to
I don't.
label
You
them
know
as
what?
loony.
Yeah, in the olden days, I would say yes, but I think nowadays everybody's just trying to make a quick buck and to be
hmm
on Netflix or something like that. I don't think so. I think everybody like, oh my gosh, I want to get my story out there, and yeah.
Yeah.
Because my question to you on the paranormal too,
hmm
all these UFO sightings, right? Why are they always mostly in other countries? Why are they not here in the United States? Right? Like,
Well, because they don't want us to know. They keep them hidden here. I just saw a guy the
oh,
other
like
day.
government. But I'm saying people. Oh, so I see. So you think if they would have put it out there on social media, then they would take it down as fast as they put it out there.
I think, I'm not voting for either side when it comes to government because I think everybody's corrupt. But I
Well,
do think
yeah, I'm just do
Trump,
your freaking job. I'll vote for you. I don't care if you're blue
I
or
do think Trump was on the precipice of something coming close to him revealing something that had to do with UFOs and aliens and
yeah.
galactic beings. It's too many people I know in my business have had too many experiences, and now I also know somebody that does do UFO sightings in Sedona, and so I know somebody that does it with goggles, and I know somebody that does it without. So either or, you can call a prayer and call them into you and see them plain as day. My husband has had experiences. I know so many people that have had UFO
Yeah,
experiences.
I know.
Mhm.
I know for a fact. I just know. I know I saw one. I know I did.
Mm.
I just know I did.
What about you, Cherie? What do you think? Where is Cherie? Where did she say? Where does she live?
Cherie is in. She's in Florida now. Is where she lives.
Boy, I bet you there's a lot because galactic. I feel a lot of galactic energy in Florida.
Oh, really? Ooh, come on, Cherie. What do you think? I see. This is when I wish that we could get everybody on here, kind of like the Zoom, and see their faces and see their
hmm
reactions and be able to do that. So Wait, me too. But has
So she's had some experiences.
Oh, tell us. I'm always eager to hear. I think it's just exciting. And, it's exciting and it's eerie too. Cause I always say, oh my gosh, like there is a haunted house or a haunted hotel up the street from us. And I think it was built in the 1800s and I want to go to it. And I saw them in Maryland.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, that's a unique place to see them in.
Well, there's a lot of naval academies and stuff in Maryland, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But see now that you said that, so is that our military doing stuff or are they UFOs?
I believe there's UFO. I believe they're cloaked here actually. I mean, if you
Yeah.
look, when I've taken pictures, I'm able to see certain things, and I know so many people that have experienced different things with seeing things. Either if they don't see them with their naked eye, when they
Mhm.
take a picture or video, something shows up.
Yeah. I would like, you know what? We just brought our some of our stuff back from California.
Mm-hmm.
And I know my husband has night goggles. Now, I don't know from the military, I don't know if they're really, really good, high performance ones. But out here, literally, when you step outside my house, when the sun goes down, it is just like the lights are out. It is pitch dark. So it'd be kind of cool to look up and see what I see because you would be able to tell, like, we can tell the satellites because they move so slow across and they
Mm-hmm.
go, that one pattern. So I think I might do that. Just look up and see what happens. I
Yeah,
don't
well, is it like Sedona where it's very clear and you can see the stars at night?
It is. Well, the last couple of days, no, but on a clear night,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know we had as many stars. Sedona, I think, is one of the places that I've seen the most stars
I feel the
ever.
closest to it in Sedona when I'm in
Yeah.
Sedona. Like it's really close to me.
In my life, but now being out here, actually Colorado, when we were up on a bridge or a ridge, and then
Hmm.
here, yeah, because there's no street lights here. There's no people don't keep their porch lights on out here. So when it goes down, I mean, other than my lights, little lights turning on, you would never know that my house was here. I mean, it just goes black. It is just
Wow.
the
I
craziest. So
love that though.
so I do need to go out there and just sit and see
Hmm.
what happens. Yeah, and
Yeah.
see if I get anything because I think it'd be interesting. I think it would be so interesting. I was watching a special one night on television, and I can't remember. It was probably Life or one of those. And there are, like you were saying, they are a group of people that go to like New Mexico, Sedona, and they all form meditation circles and they call on the UFOs. They literally tell them where they are. And at first, when I was watching, I'm like, what? And then, sure as crap stuff, there is no way an airplane or anything. I mean, this bright light came to them and was swirling around. And I was like, okay, you can't make that up.
No.
And it
And I
doesn't
do
go,
know
it disappears as soon as it gets in there.
somebody Native American, and they said that. So a long time ago, before all this shit came involved with the government,
Mhm.
um, they were able to actually call them in and do that. But when everything happened with the government around the Roswell time, they
Yeah.
sort of put the nix on that. But Native Americans still do that, and they know they carries through their cultures, so they know how to call them in through their prayers. I think that's
Yeah.
awesome that you can do that and that they show up for you and they can give you a light show. They can communicate with you.
Yeah.
I've actually seen I've actually seen a portal in Sedona, one of the first times I was meditating up on that airport mesa. And my friend who I work with, Roz, has
Uh-huh.
said that she used to live by Thunder Mountain over
Yeah.
there by the stupa.
Yeah. Yeah.
The black op cop, I'm probably going to get, if I disappear, you know why. The black op copters would, a thing would open in the mountain like a door, and the copter would go in the mountain.
What? No
You didn't
way.
hear from me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. See? But there's such an energy in Sedona that I can't imagine. And this last time that I was in Sedona, I did that airport, and wow, is that so beautiful up
The
there? The
airport
view
is
of all.
really
Oh,
extraterrestrial. that was one of the first places that I've had my first profound experiences.
Saying
There's
that.
such great extraterrestrial energy. So let's get into like haunted houses, like you were saying. I also love haunted houses, but I am a scaredy cat, I have to tell you.
Mhm. But that's the funny thing. I think if I don't know how I'd react because I think I really would have to ask myself to be, surrounded by white light and let's do it because I don't want to be those people that I watch on television. They go in and they have all these cool little gadgets. They're like, okay, if you're here, speak to me. And then the thing goes off, it speaks to them, and they drop it and they freaking run out. I'm like, oh, well,
Yeah,
shit.
I don't want to be touched because they will touch you. You have to be
Yeah.
really specific in your parameters.
Yeah,
So
I don't want to be touched, but I want to hear them say, "Hi, Anne. How are you?"
you can hear them. So let's
Yeah.
talk about this. My first experience, one of my really memorable first experiences. My husband and I were dating, and he loves Jerome, and I hate Jerome because I feel like there's so much pain there.
Mm.
But he loves Jerome. So one of the first experiences, we did a ghost tour.
Oh,
I was not spiritually awake yet.
okay.
Okay, but I was aware of spirit and all of that.
Hmm.
We did the ghost tour, so we had the little meters where they're going off and buzzing and everything, right? And we're walking, and I swear to God, I saw a spirit go. One body, a guy was walking next to me. A spirit left his body and jumped into somebody else, and you can see him almost go like this. I swear to God, and I was like, "What the fuck did I just see?"
Oh my God. Now, what did the person that it went into, did they feel anything? Did
They
they?
just sort of like, I don't know if they had like a twitch or what it was. I don't know if they were cognizant of what it was. And I really didn't understand what it was at the time.
Right.
Between spirit hopping, now that I know what I know very clearly you can get an attachment. A spirit can go from one body into another just like that. Just like that. Like,
Oh,
and if you're not aware of it, you won't know that that's happening. So now I do know, like, if something tries to attach to me, usually I'll feel it in the back of my head,
right.
and I get very tired very quickly. My
Really?
energy drops. They're just sucking the hell out of my fucking energy. And I
Yeah.
can feel this pain in the back of my head. And I know I got an attachment. So I am very careful now about
Right.
clearing it, taking it away, putting that. I put my shield out. I don't even try to protect myself anymore because I think, like, you know what? I'm too fucking powerful. So if I put rather than shield myself, my energy is going out. They're not going to be able to penetrate that energy.
Yeah. And you know what? And I think with me too is the faith, just knowing that I have the faith of the protection around me, and I think I'll be okay. But I haven't. Oh, you know what? I lie. I lie. The only time, but not physically feel like it was a person. We went to the house in oh gosh, where was San Jose? Is that the
Well,
west?
the Alamo?
No, the Weston house is
Mm-hmm.
the gun, the lady who she bought.
This is like charades.
Oh my God, this is so bad. Oh my God, you know I'm gonna get off there and go, oh my gosh, why didn't I think about it? Because it's a gun.
Cherie, do you know what she's talking about?
They're guns. They're guns. It's a Weston. Is it a Weston?
Like Smith and Wesson?
Yeah. No.
No.
Oh my gosh. But anyhow, this lady, her and her husband built this house in San Jose, California. And her husband was this very famous gun. Why I can't remember it. My husband's gonna be like, "Are you kidding me right now?" But anyhow, so we went because she thought when her husband died, her daughter died, everybody around her that she loved kind of died. So she thought that she had bad spirits. So she
Mm-hmm.
had this person come in, a medium come in and try
Mm-hmm.
to cleanse the house. Well, this psychic or whatever person was telling her, "Oh, you have evil demons all through the house." Smith and Weston, yes, because no, it's not Smith and Weston. It's called something. It's going to come to me. It's going to
We
come.
own a Smith and Wesson.
Okay,
That's a pretty popular one.
and maybe that I thought it just had one name. But anyhow, so we went and she had the house cleared. So this medium told her, "Okay, well what you need to do is you need to go and you need to trick the spirits." because your husband made all these guns that killed so many souls. Now these souls are coming to get you. So
Oh my
this
gosh.
lady, oh my gosh, if you guys ever go, you need to go. You go into this house. I want to say Wrigley's, but that's gum. But you go into this house and she has like a fake door. You open the door, and literally, if you stepped, you're going to step out to your grave because you step all the way down. Then you go into this other room and she has like a mirror on the ground. And then you have another place where you go through the stairs, but the stairs get smaller and smaller and tinier. So while you're walking, you have to kind of crawl and you got to go through the side because she made it very tight to kind of freak them out too. But when we were going through and they were doing this, I was like, okay, because they were trying to say, the house is haunted. I wasn't feeling anything. And then we got into one room, and while we were in there, and when you're doing tours or something, they bring everybody in the room. I literally had to just grab onto my husband because I was just getting sick, and all of a sudden, I wanted to vomit. And the guy came in there, and he looked at me, and he goes, "You're sensitive," and I'm like,
You
I don't
think?
know what I am. I feel sick to my stomach. And he goes, well, believe it or not, this is the room where she did her meditations and she met with her mediums and her psychics was in this room. This was
Wow.
where she protected herself and had the conversation with the other side. Everything went down in this room or whatever. And I'm like, well, let's get me out of this room because I literally, like, it even felt like it went to a tilt. And I got so nauseated. I couldn't wait to get out of that room. And then as soon as
Mhm.
I got out of the room, like I didn't get so hot. I wasn't so hot flushed anymore.
Right.
I felt okay, but I was like, wow. Yeah, something definitely went on in
Well,
that
you know how often people don't pay attention to that?
a lot.
A lot. I get
Yeah.
so many clients that come in and say stuff like that, whether it's in their house or they've been somewhere, and they don't pay attention to it. I'm like, don't you think that that's odd that you're in one place and everything's fine and you go someplace else now, another room or another place, wherever you are, and now you're sick?
Yeah.
If it's a really bad, low energy spirit, I will get nauseous.
Yeah.
We were
Oh.
looking at a house once in Cottonwood. It was so bad. I did not want to go in this house, but my
Mm,
husband's like, just let's go in the house.
yeah.
Okay. I go in the house. I swear they must have been doing some satanic shit in there because I was like, same thing. I was sick to my stomach. It was like The Exorcist. On this one wall, there were tons of flies. And
Oh.
I was sick as anything. And we go around and I'm like, I gotta go. And he's like, all right. So we go and the realtor's like, all right, go shut off the light. I'm like, screw that shit. I'm not going back over there. I'm going right out the front door.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he felt it too. So the realtor, who was not open,
Right.
felt the nauseousness and he felt the energy of that house. So I think it is possible that people just don't pay attention to it, or they just throw it away and be like, oh, no, I'm just imagining it or whatever. But that is possible when you are somewhere to recognize that's what it
Mhm.
is.
Well, I think you know what, and I would fall in that category because we were there at the Weston House. That's what it's called, the Weston House. Holy crap, Ann. When it, I would agree because we were in that house. I was looking for it, right? So I was even trying to feel it. So to me, but now if I didn't know the history of the house, then I probably thought, oh my gosh, we need to eat soon, or my blood sugar is dropping. You're right. I wouldn't put the two and two together,
Right.
because my grandfather, he towards the end of his time, he stayed in his own bedroom, and my grandma had her own bedroom, right? And it was so funny because whenever I would go into my grandpa's room, it was like as soon as you just walk through the door, it got really thick and heavy in there, but it wasn't as scary. It was just, I really believe his energy was still in that room protecting my grandma. And
Yeah.
as soon as I stepped out into the hallway, I got more calm. And I remember one time I did it and I went in there with my camera, and wasn't telling my family or anything. This is before I even came out to them. And I walked in there and I started taking pictures with my camera. And then I just walked out of the room. And it was so funny because my sister even said, she goes, can you feel it? And I'm like, what? She goes, doesn't it feel so thick when you walk in there? And I'm like, oh my gosh. So she felt it too. And
Hmm.
yeah, my grandma would always tell us, like, go grandpa's here because right at 6 o'clock, some nights, not every night, but some nights her TV would just turn on at 6.
Mm.
And so I'm like, oh, there's grandpa saying hello to you. But yeah, so that feeling, but I didn't get scared. So I've never been in the situation of a room where I'm like, oh, there's somebody here and I don't like it. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah. What about you, Cherie, in Maryland? Is there some haunted houses or haunted cemeteries or places? Or I would imagine there would be because there's a lot of rich history there.
yeah, yeah. Cherie, where I wonder if were you in a hotel or were you in a house looking for it, or did it happen to you? Yes, I love this crap. I do.
We could talk about this forever. There's nothing like your people. We should do a show about your people. There's nothing like your people.
I know. I would love to, but I think I want to do one of these overnight things. I really do, just once, just to see if what I'm watching on television is totally true, or are they just being Hollywood and they're just even blowing it up. Because it kills me that these people travel miles and miles. They go into this house, they sit, and as soon as they hear something, man, they are running out the door. It's like, dude, sit, talk to
I
me.
would be curious because the Jerome has the asylum, the mental hospital where a bunch of people were
Oh, I didn't
died.
know that. Oh, I was driving through.
Mm.
Oh, so with the UFO, was it at nighttime, Cherie? Well, it had to be, right? Well, no, some
No.
people have seen UFOs during the day.
Hmm.
Wow,
Isn't it crazy? I love all this stuff.
it
Oh my gosh.
is. You know what? And I bet you there's more, like you said, just like with what we're doing, right? A lot of people think this is bullshit. They think that we're out of it. We're sinners. We're like, whatever, right? We're just
Whatever.
completely fake people. So I can imagine that if it took us this hard to get out, the people that are seeing the UFOs and stuff like that, you're right. How do you come out and say, yeah, for sure, unless you're trying to just make a quick buck or whatever, and be completely honest without people questioning you and judging you? So that
Yeah,
you're
or
right.
start with
People can
spirit,
probably keep it in.
Hmm. You
Yeah.
can start with spirit. I would always say that.
Oh, okay. Wait. I had
Anytime.
several experiences with grays and
And spirit,
spirits,
but nothing
but
scary.
nothing scary. Yeah. Yeah. See, I haven't got the scary either.
Now
So
talk about the grays. Cherie, do you know about the grays? Because there's two different types of grays.
I don't even know what
Um,
grays are. What are grays? People that are gray?
yeah,
Like,
the gray alien, the typical alien you would see with the big eyes and the gray in the body.
oh, really?
There's smaller grays and there's bigger grays, and not all are malevolent. Some are benevolent. So they're like any other race. There's good and there's bad.
Look what I'm learning. I didn't even know. I didn't even know that was a thing. I just thought it was an alien. I had no idea there was a difference. Oh my gosh.
We're still in the
No.
UFO. It was crystal clear. Wow, that's so awesome.
No way. Wow. And I wonder also, people that are more sensitive, and I use a sensitive, it's just because we feel a
Hmm.
little bit more, right? Our awareness is a little bit more elite than other people. And I don't want to say that negative, but I wonder if that's what brings that we have the capability to see it more, or they come more into our energy field because of that.
Well, I think we're more sensitive to it, but a lot of people with this awakening are becoming more sensitive. So
Yes.
she said, yes, this was a small gray. Okay. And you weren't scared. That's really good. There's so many different types that I've come across. Tomorrow, I'm doing a show on the Sedona Soul Sisters about the Galactic Federation. And so the Galactic Federation was put in place with the government
Uh-huh.
to protect everybody in the universe. I'm familiar with all the beings. Oh, that's awesome.
Ooh.
So, do you know where you're from? You know where you hail from? And I asked this, people like to know where they're from. She spent time with the small gray. Yeah. But
What is wait, stop. Stop. What does that mean? Were you beamed me up, Scotty? What does that mean? You can't just leave it like that.
he
Oh my
walked through my bedroom. So he walked through the bedroom. It's very common
Okay, see, if I saw that, I would have thought I took a
in your
step.
house. The
Ooh.
show is Fridays. If you follow Sedona Soul Sisters show, it's Fridays at 12 o'clock Arizona time.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my.
so yeah, I've had tons. I think so. I do a lot of work in my bedroom, and even when I had my house in Gilbert, I
Uh-huh.
had a separate room where I did meditation and all that, and they still came in my bedroom. I think when you're in your bedroom, it's one of those places where you're in that very relaxed state. So it's
Yes.
very easy then for them to connect with you, whether you're, in
Mhm.
that between state where you're falling asleep and you're awake and you
Right.
sort of can hear, see, feel, know things that are going on. You're not fully asleep. You're not fully awake. So I
Right.
think in your bedroom or wherever you're sleeping, I mean, I've slept on the couch and have experiences. So I think wherever you're in that state, it's easier for them. That and dream time is the easiest for them to connect with you
Right.
if you're not really understanding or aware of what it is.
Right. Oh.
It was
Okay.
weird. I woke up and felt someone stand. I woke up scared, and then I saw him walk by. And I said, "Oh, it's you," and went back to sleep. So, have you had relationship with him since you were little? I feel like it's a really long-standing relationship. Maybe like he's a guardian.
I wonder if people can see this. We're talking, you guys, right now. Cherie is writing. It was weird. I woke up because I felt someone standing over me. I woke up scared, and then I saw him walk by, and I said, "Oh, it's you." And I went back to sleep. So, yes, there is a relationship for you to be
You
so.
believe so? Yeah, that's what I'm getting. I get chills too. That's my
Holy
confirmation.
moly! Oh my
Hmm.
goodness, Cherie, we should have took you to the top of the mountain when we were in Sedona. Oh
Yeah,
my
why didn't
god!
you guys call me? I could have met you. We could have been on the top
Oh,
of the
and you
mountain
know what?
calling them all in.
It ended up. It was after one of our nights. We were having a really deep healing session or whatever, and I think it was actually turned out to be really cold. We almost went to this gentleman, and it's funny that you said that at the beginning of the show. You go to his backyard, and he gives you goggles, and he promises you that you are going to see UFOs. You're going to see, like he was telling the one lady who was going to set it up for us. Like, I guess it's just like an air pad. It's just constantly coming and going, coming and going. And I'm like, wow,
That's
wow.
so cool. I think that's so amazing.
Yeah, I do have a friend's friend. I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this. Well, yeah, because people in Sedona knew about it. Um, there is that one area in town. It's down. It levels down. It's kind of like a ranch that's kind of right there in the middle of town, an abandoned ranch or somebody's property right there.
Uptown?
Yeah, uptown, and it sits down in the valley right before you go through, right before you go up to Sneasley Canyon or whatever on your Jeep.
Nebley.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the government went in and they shut it down, and it's owned now by the government. And they go over there and they do some testings and stuff because there's
Interesting.
weird activity going on over there. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I want to hear the deeds when you get it all and you're allowed to say, I just.
Yeah.
Well, he says, yeah, I'm going over there. We're doing something over there. But he wouldn't elaborate. So I'm like, okay, for them not to elaborate, what the heck is going on?
Right. So
Yeah.
Cherie has had good experience. I have a client. Let's talk about it. I'm not going to mention her name.
Yeah, do it. I'm jealous
So
now.
she came in with scratches on her back.
Mm-hmm.
What she told me was she was dreaming, and when she in her dream something was chasing her and scratched her back.
Yeah, no, that's
Now when she woke up, she had scratches on her back.
mm-mm.
So it's your back. It's not like you can
Yeah.
go like down your chest. It was her back, and it was down her back, and she showed me. And it was really scary for her. And so I was teaching her about that, just that, removing those entities, how to raise your frequency so they can't get into your field, how to set protection around yourself and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, when that happens to people, I mean, you can't just dismiss that either. Like I said, that's her back. So it's like, more and more people have these experiences, but they're afraid to talk about it. So when they do, it's like any other type of abuse, right?
Yeah.
when you come
Yeah.
out with abuse. And
Mhm.
so you want to be careful who you tell. You want to be really know that the person you're telling is trustworthy.
Yeah.
Um, I'll read this. So the planet I came from was destroyed, similar to Earth. Definitely deep connection to the Greys, Cherie says.
Wow. I
Cherie,
shocked.
you and I could talk forever.
Forever. You two need to hook up and
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. See,
so
I have, other than seen the UFO, I have never experienced that. I think in the beginning it'd probably freak my shit out of me. But then I would be like, okay, this is kind of cool because I'm like I always say, we're silly to think we're the only freaking people here. We are
mhm.
so silly to think that we are here on Earth. This is it, and we are silly, and yeah,
And
we're
we can
just
all have these experiences. I'm not going to talk about my son, but the one experience that my husband had with my son did not involve me.
mm,
So, and my husband is not spiritually awake as I was, and especially at that time, right when Anthony had died. We were in bed, and I was facing with my back to him, and he was holding me from behind.
mm-hmm.
And he said, "Why are you hitting me in the head?" And I said, "I'm not touching you." And he said, "Something is tapping me in the head." And
Oh,
at that exact moment, I heard my son say, "Unlock the door." And so
oh,
my husband is like, "Aunt, is that you?" And he felt him going like this.
oh my gosh! See,
So everything is possible when you're
yeah,
open minded and you're open to it. And my husband was open to it because it was my son.
yeah,
So he was really, and he had really no type of spirit experiences before
right,
that.
right, yeah,
So even if they're little things like, something tapping you or you feel a cold breeze, you get chills, spirit talks to you in so many different ways. And
yeah.
especially when it's someone that you love and know, there's never any fear around it. She said, wow. Yeah, it was so beautiful. My husband was so amazed that that
Wow.
happened. And so what the spirit world is capable of. I don't
Mhm.
do the work anymore with dark entities because number one,
Yeah,
especially after Anthony died, because I found my frequency, I couldn't get up high enough. And if my frequency's up high enough, I'm going to get an attachment and I'm going to bring that home to my family. And I
mm,
have a young child, so that's not something I
yeah,
want to do anymore. Especially that I know. I mean, I'm getting better now, getting back to that place where my frequency is higher. But in that state, I started to get a lot of clients like that, and that's because that's what I was
bringing it
experiencing.
in. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I don't want to do that work. It's just, well, number one, it's very taxing, and number two is, it's my belief. I've worked with clients sometimes when they've had attachments, and they don't like to hear that. A lot of times they're calling that in because I'm going out, say I'm clearing the house, I'm doing whatever. Now, that person who's there and they're negative and they're mean and they're nasty and they're judgmental, they're only going to bring that back in, right? So the spouse is calling me saying, this is the issue I'm having with all these things, and my husband is experiencing these things, but the husband doesn't want to hear that he's continually bringing these things in with his actions. So
Yes.
it's like you're working, 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 and nothing is getting done. And I refuse to use my energy to work with somebody that's not willing to be open to it.
Right. Right. And put in the efforts
We
to
have to
clean
take
it
that.
up.
We talk about self responsibility a lot, right?
Yeah.
That's self responsibility. You have to understand that there is part of you. If you're going to keep your frequency low, those are a possibility for you to get attachments.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah. The only thing not on the grays now, I know there's a name for it. How funny! I had no idea.
Yeah. Oh, they're amazing.
The only other time, you know what, now that it's so funny, the more we talk about it, you start
Hmm.
remembering the little different things. And I remember one time I was heading home from the hospital. Unfortunately, my dad was in the hospital and he was dying at that time. So
Hmm.
on the weekends, I would drive because they lived about 2.5 hours. So on the weekends, we would go spend all of our time in the hospital. And then Sunday night, I would drive home. Well, that weekend, I think I was just exhausted. And I know my mom was exhausted, but my mom's like, you know what? Just go home. Just enjoy the time. Let me have the grandkids, whatever. And I'm like, are you sure? Because you have dad, mom, you have the kid. She goes, actually, they'll help me on. So
Hmm.
just go. Just get a night by yourself. Jeff was deployed at that time. So I just remember being in the car, and I think it was the best thing that my mom could have done because I just broke down crying. Like I was sobbing, crying, and I don't know if you remember that song, "Bring On the Rain" with Tim McGraw.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my gosh, I was doing that. Well, the next thing you know, I'm driving, but I felt like somebody was taking my leg and pulling my leg up to my stomach. And I was looking down because I was almost going like 100 on the freeway. But I think I
Wow.
was crying so hard and I was so just like in another thought that I wasn't paying attention. You know, I lost myself, I guess, for that minute. But it wasn't until when I looked down, it literally is almost like somebody was taking me off my foot off the gas pedal by itself, like, okay, like, you know what I mean? And that's when I'm like, okay,
Wow.
thank you. Somebody was there. Thank you. Cause I needed that and I needed
Yeah.
to slow down. And it was raining that night. So it was just like, and so every time I hear that song, Here Comes the Rain, or hear that song with Carrie Underwood, it says, Jesus, take the wheel. I'm like, I experienced that. And I really do believe
Absolutely.
Jesus took that wheel that night because I just was zoning. I think it was just crying and just so much. And I just lost it.
Yeah.
It wasn't until my awareness because I felt my, my leg just doing, I was like, okay, wow. Wow. Yeah.
That's
Thank you.
beautiful. I think so many people have some sort of experience with spirit. I've found with my clients, especially, somebody, really close to them, like their parents, their husband, their children, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But they experience some sort of, I'd say 9 out of 10 of my clients have had some sort of experience with spirit
Yeah.
without really knowing that's an experience with spirit.
No, that's, you know what, you're true. And it's just that knowing, if you give it a chance and you're quiet enough, the knowing, because I mean, it was another weekend, same thing with my dad, and we knew it was getting closer.
Mm-hmm.
And again, with my sister, she's sensitive too. She just doesn't open herself up to it. Um, and we went to bed or whatever, and we were staying at what, because my dad's been in and out and just staying at the hospital. And it was that night, it was so weird because I got up and I started getting dressed. And then my sister, I heard her door open. So I opened my door and she was dressed. And then the phone call came in. You guys need
Mm-hmm.
to get to the hospital and you need to get to the hospital now.
Wow.
And I'm like, did mom call you before or whatever? And she's like, no, I just had a weird feeling. And I'm like, me too. Me too.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. There is something if we just listen to it instead of, so I guess how would you do it? I guess if we listen to it, kind of like when we listen to our messages, when we do our readings and stuff, right? If we listened instead of using our knowledge to try to understand it and make it what it means, like
Right.
instead of us making, oh, well, this is what it is, just sit back and let
Like
that.
if you feel someone touch your cheek and you're like, oh no, that couldn't have been anything, it was just a breeze or whatever.
Yeah,
But you can feel spirit will touch you as well. I like to,
yeah.
work with clients and have spirit show them how it feels. Have you thought about some of the spookiest places? I know Jerome is one of them. I like I said, I'm not a big fan, not a fan of Jerome. This what I thought was interesting. I read online when I was doing some research. The Queen Mary.
I know. I've always, and dude, I lived right there,
I
and we
slept on
never
the Queen
did it.
Mary.
Oh, we
I
never
slept
did
on
it.
the Queen
You
Mary. We were
did?
going. We were going on a cruise out of Long Beach, and I slept on the Queen Mary. And again, I was not spiritually awake at that time, but I could hear so many voices and so many different dimensions, and I can hear chains clanking and people talking, and like a party, like music playing, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
But see, this is what I mean. This is where I get in Anne's head, right? Because it's so known to be such a haunted place. And me and my
but I
husband,
didn't know that, and I wasn't there looking for that.
oh,
We were just sleeping because we had a layover before we got on our cruise the next day.
oh, but I was just thinking,
I
is
didn't know anything about any haunting.
clicking on
Mm-hmm.
something? That's what I wonder. Is somebody like, okay, let's just click it and see what happens, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
No, because my husband didn't hear it. I
Oh,
was
you
like,
didn't hear it, only
I was
you.
like, "Do you hear music?" He's like, "Nope." I ask him all the time when I was really going through my spiritual awakening the first time, and I say first time because there's many layers to that, and we go and go and go.
Right.
So my first really spiritual awakening when I started, because I'm a mystic, I would be in the bedroom at night and I hear voices. And
Mm-hmm.
I swear they were like right outside my window, clear as day, in other languages. I would literally open the window, look out the window as if somebody was there. And I'd ask him, "Do you hear that?" "No, I don't hear." "What are you talking about? I don't hear anything." So I
Yeah.
had to start sleeping with a fan on because it would drive me crazy.
Mm, yeah, and you know what? I have to do that now. I have to do the fans, and I'm not proud of it. But I also I have to every night, and I can't tell you how many years now. If I know they say, oh, they're not addictive. Oh no, I'm totally addicted to a sleeping pill because if I don't take a sleeping pill, it is like going to a movie theater and just watching movie after movie after movie after movie. Like I wake it up exhausted because
Yeah.
all I've been doing is watching movies play all night long. All night long. And it cracks me up because when you go and you tell the doctors, like, okay, I want to try something else. This is just not working, whatever. And they're like, yeah, you know what? You really should try meditation. I'm like, okay, wrong person. Because I meditate in the morning, I meditate in the day. I got my meditation going. You know what I mean? And then
Hmm.
I've had doctors say, well, it could be your weight. Okay, well, I don't know why my weight would make
Thank
me
you.
replay like movies over and over and over again. But when I try to get myself off of the sleeping pills, right? I did like, okay, I'm just gonna try to do it. And then my dreams would be so vivid and so real, but like I remember I was standing in the midst of Afghanistan watching them shoot each other and watching them hide behind places, and it was just the weirdest thing. It was just, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I always find myself in different places. There's no reason. Like, I understand, like, well, maybe you watched it right before you went to bed or whatever, whatever. No, I'm not
Mm.
of these different places. I mean, I'm all over the world watching these different things, and it's just, it's crazy to me. So
Well,
that,
I'd love to have my editor on, Jason. He's a dream interpreter.
oh, I would love that. I
That
would
would be
love
so
that.
awesome.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because but now I'm sure I dream, but I don't know I dream. I
Yeah.
don't know I dream.
I
But
try not to take melatonin either when I'm really, because I astral travel a lot. I leave my body all the time. So I'm really not here. I'm doing a lot of work during the night.
yeah, yeah,
um, so I try not to, but oh my God. My son the other night, marijuana is legal here.
yeah.
And he had some, don't ask me what it was called because I don't know all the different names. I'm so bad. I don't know anything about this. But anyway, he put a little dab in I was drinking ginger tea that night before bed. Put a little dab in, and I'm like, this shit don't work, blah, blah, blah. I didn't move all night, and I woke up in the morning like I was drugged, and I swear to God, it was
Oh,
like a drop.
oh my God! But see, because you're just so sensitive. But I do have to say,
I
like,
am.
matter of fact, in Sedona one year when I forgot my sleeping pills and I was like, okay, I cannot do another night of sleeping. And while I was up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I got on my phone and there was a thing about Jane Fonda, how she does a little vape every night before she goes to sleep.
Hmm.
Oh, let me read about Jane Fonda and her getting high or whatever, you know. So I click on it, and she says how her favorite place that she gets it from is in Sedona. So literally the next morning when my husband woke up, he's like, "What are we doing? What are we doing today? Where are we riding?" Because we had the motorcycles, and I'm like, "We're gonna go get me some of the CBD whatever stuff so I can sleep at night." And I do have to say that I ran out, and I don't know why I was just there. I should have got it because that I did like better than taking the sleeping pill
Hmm.
because granted, one little like out, I felt like I slept so good. I woke up in the morning, I had so much energy. I felt so good. But it
Yeah.
was funny because the guy was like, okay, this is only a month supply. I think that thing lasted me like 7 months. No joke. Because I just needed a little. I don't need, like, I
Hmm.
couldn't even imagine, like, I couldn't even imagine taking like a full dose of it. There's no way it would knock me on my bootay, but it was just enough where it just made me get such the best night's sleep. And I
Hmm.
woke up, whatever. And I also do have to say with that, I was more sensitive to
Hmm.
to things. like, you know, my channeling and stuff, like, you know, how you wake up in the middle of the night, like we were saying,
Hmm.
it felt like that during the day. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I had the more clarity or whatever, but I was just more on tuned with that.
Right.
But yeah, but where do you think the most scariest place, or did you look it up where the most scariest place to go to
No,
is?
I didn't look it up, but I wouldn't say the Queen Mary was scary.
Hmm.
I don't like Jerome. I'm going to say because I know where Jerome is. And I would imagine if I had a guess, I would say probably somewhere in England,
Oh,
in Europe.
yeah, yeah. I would,
Europe and probably somewhere where there's been a lot of trauma or pain or killing,
yeah, I would agree with that.
you
I would
know,
totally
because
agree.
in Jerome, there is all that the miners were there and the asylum is there. And so there
Mhm.
was a lot of murders and pain and all that. And so I'm extra sensitive to that.
Yeah,
So for me, it is scary because I don't honestly want to feel that stuff. Like we were talking about a few weeks, I just want to be normal. I was going on a ghost tour with my husband, who wasn't my husband at the time, and we just wanted to have fun. And I wasn't even aware of all this shit yet. So that
yeah,
totally freaked me out when I
yeah.
saw that.
Well,
But
see,
what do you think?
no, I agree with you. I think wherever a lot of bloodshed was done, you know,
What
I
about like
think
Williamsburg, Gettysburg? I think.
all
Hmm.
of that, yeah, I bet you if you really tone into it. But I think because I don't call in, I never had the negativity. Like I said, I've had many places that I've gone to, like that one battlefield, and when I was in the shower and I bought that soldier back to me. Or
Hmm.
here in Tennessee, we were at one of the mansions, the Bellamy Mansion, because I love their wine. I literally, when the lady was ringing for the tour, I went to lift up my skirt. Like you would think that
You
I
were running somewhere
felt
with
like that person. Like I was so yeah, I think it would have to be one of those places where a lot of love and a lot of harm came to that area, I think for
yeah,
me. Because I don't ask for the negative, you know, so I don't think the negative comes to me because I know I just think that no, I don't play in that dark magic or whatever. I just don't
right,
want to I don't want to attempt it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's kind of like people like ask me, I'm afraid of heights. Do you want to jump out of a plane? No, you know, even if it's safe, why even take the freaking chance, right? I don't even want to do temptation on
yeah,
that and stuff. But I would think it would be so cool to just like, I don't know, to do one of those things and just have a vision come and just have a conversation. I think at first I'd be like, but then I'd be like, okay, hey, okay, so let's talk. Let's, you know, because they never ask the right freaking questions. They're like, well, are you upset that you're not with your family anymore? Well, shit, yeah, they're upset. You know what I mean? Why don't you ask, like, how do you come to us? Like, is this easy for you? Why don't they ask those questions? Those are the questions I want to know. Those
yeah. Or I know my friend Melissa, she channels like Jimi Hendrix and stuff.
no way. Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, see?
JFK Jr. Well, you know, you can connect with anybody
Yeah, I was
anytime.
just going to say that. I think
Just
you
a
can.
matter of doing it. Even like the Galactics, like uh, if you would have asked me, I would have said no. And so people have their views about that too. Because I was talking to somebody recently, and they're like, "Well, you say no, but it was probably contracted, and it was probably another life." But I never had any desire to be a reverend. There was never any, I was never looking for it. It wasn't anything that I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go be a reverend.
Right.
Nothing in my spectrum would tell you that I was going to go be a reverend. I mean, look at me. And I've heard I was a nun in a past life. I don't look like a nun, you know? So it's like,
Yeah.
I can't believe it. But my point was that, you know, even with the Galactics, I didn't think, if you would have asked me a couple of years ago, I would have said, no, that probably doesn't exist. But now that I've experienced that,
Right.
I understand that it exists. And so we all have our own particular lens that we're viewing things through. And we can only understand with the spectrum of our experience, right? It's like losing a child. You can feel for me, and you, as an empath, you can feel my pain. But unless
Mhm.
you haven't experienced it, unless you've lived it, it's hard for you to really understand. And so that's why I tell people about the Galactics. Unless you've experienced it, and I believe everybody will experience it. You know, maybe not my lifetime. I'm 53 now.
Right.
Maybe not in my lifetime, but I would like to see something start happening in that direction, that
Right.
we're able to at least do some sort of communication and that people are open to that.
Yeah. I wonder if they're here. If I wonder if they're just here
I
walking
believe
around
they're
every
here.
now and then.
I believe they're here. I believe they're here. I believe they're in our skies. I believe they're watching. I do believe that they
Do
will
you
not
think
let
they're
us
in
blow
our
up.
form? Do you think they're in our form walking around or no?
Yeah.
Oh, you do. You do.
I've seen some people, I swear. So you know
So do you
Sedona.
think you're galactic and now gray is a name? Or do you think they're angels walking here on earth?
I think that too. I think, well, right now, especially, I believe that Mary, Jesus, Tesla, all of them have aspects of themselves. And so what Mary showed me was Mary's like the main, say, spirit. Let's just use spirit for lack of a better word right now. But she shot out sparks of energy of her energy field.
Right.
And those aspects of her are on earth at this time. That's why me, and I'm not the only one, me and everybody else who have connected with Mary are having this experience with her because of those aspects.
Right. Right.
Lots of people think Elon Musk is. Yeah. Uh-huh. I wonder if Elon Musk is a reincarnation of Nicholas Tesla.
I wonder of something, right? Just like I understand the thing with Jesus, just like I said, he was the best freaking novel book ever. You know what I mean? Because you think the Bible wasn't written until years after him being gone, but that one man left such a staple on so many
And you
people.
still talk about the quotes today. He gave me a quote for my book.
Yeah.
Whatever I can do, you can do.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Wow.
profound in and of itself. He's telling you, if he can heal, you can heal. We are capable of all of that. He's no
Absolutely.
different than any of us. And don't we say that all the time? We're
Yep.
not any different than anybody else. You're not any different than me. We're not any better. We're tuned in, but
Mm-hmm.
you can be tuned in too.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
you can heal yourself. I truly believe we have the power to heal ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Because all we are is we are a product of what somebody told us we are. That's, I mean, from the moment we started being able to think that's exactly it. You know what I mean? We're just a
Aging
product.
too. I'm just getting into this stuff with epigenetics. Have you ever heard of it?
Oh my gosh, no, you guys, I'm like gonna have to get a book from you and Cherie giving me all this information. Oh wait, oh my gosh, I was talking with a woman today who said Jesus gave her the exact
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. That is the quote. And I think it's my last chapter in my book is what I can do, you can do.
Yeah. And it's so true. And it's just the miscommunication of him being here and we're being here, but we're not. It's because we were taught to idolize him. Not once does it say idolize. It's like walk with me, just like me and you and Cherie and everybody. Let us help you. Let's all walk together as one big group and learn and love and do whatever we need to do. There's no idolizing who's better than each other.
No,
We chose to give that name. Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. She's
She's
also writing a book. That's awesome.
oh, no way. See?
I love to hear stuff like that. I believe Jesus is on his aspect is on the planet at this time also.
Oh, I believe so
And I
too.
do believe that the galactics will not let us blow up our own planet. I don't believe they're going to let that happen. So um, I think they're absolutely here. And that's what we're going to be talking about the Galactic Federation tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. Now, when you say that you don't think they're gonna, there's got to be end of time. There's got, unless this has just been going on for so long. You know how everybody keeps on saying, well, the first day, whatever. There was never a first day. I think this is just, it's been here forever
Do
and
you
ever
think?
and ever. I
I
don't think
think.
you could put a dot on the first day. I
I
really
think we'll never know
will never.
until we're in spirit
There
what
you go.
the truth is, and we'll forget when we come back again.
I absolutely agree
I
100% with
don't think we're supposed to know. We're here to learn, grow, and evolve. We're supposed to learn and grow and evolve. That means we're supposed to come here with no memory and learn from our experiences, grow, and evolve so that we can get the experience that our soul came here to get and bring that back with it so that soul could evolve.
Yep. And I think that's why so many of us that do what we do have had so many experiences and so many different things. I think it's just because we die and then we go back up there. I'm like, oh, but wait a minute. I don't know what it feels like to be poor. Let me go back
Let
and
me go do it again.
Because don't you guys ever, we're getting so off the topic of seeing UFOs and paranormal. But my whole thing is like, I do it all the time. I'll sit and I'll drive in the car and then I'll look at somebody or, I hate to say it. I don't know how to say more humble. Um, but like a shack or something. And then you just see people and it's just like, God, why do they have to have it so hard? You know what I mean? And it's like, why did I have to have it? Not because I worked for it, but yet I was born into a family of security, right? And then I married into for a husband that has always taken care of me. Like, so yes, everybody's had shit and every whatever, but you look at those people that's just like they never feel like I feel so bad for them. It's like because they can never get ahead kind of thing. It's like a child that was born into a rural poverty home. It's like seriously, did the spirit really say, yeah, that's what I want to go into? But that's the only way I can justify it because it just doesn't make sense to me. It
Yeah, it's
doesn't.
in those contracts, and you've
Yeah.
chosen your parents. My kids don't like when I told them they chose me, but they did. Oh well, you can not like it, but you did.
Yeah. Now, do your, talking about that, going back to the paranormal, what about your kids? Have they experienced some
Yes,
things?
so my daughter is 12 and she's sitting right here listening to everything I say, actually.
Okay.
So my daughter, she was about 3 years old and we had moved into a new place. It was a townhouse in Gilbert. And I
Mm-hmm.
was going through a divorce and she had never, my one grandfather died when I was pregnant with her. He always wanted me to have a girl, and I had three
Mm-hmm.
boys. And he said it's going to be a princess, and I was like, I'm going to have
Oh.
another boy. But anyway, so she had never met him. She never met my other two. She only met my one grandmother that died, and she had a little interaction with her when she was a baby. So
Mm-hmm.
no memory. I'd say up to one, and then my grandmother passed away soon after that.
Right.
In that house, two incidences occurred on numerous occasions. One where she would tell me that my grandparents were sitting on the couch watching me. And so she's
Mm-hmm.
3 years old and she's like, Mommy, your grandparents are here. And this is their names.
Wow.
And I wasn't spiritually awake yet. Okay. So I was like, what? And then the other experience she had, there was a little boy who was in that house, who lived
Mm-hmm.
in that house. And he played with her. And she'd tell me, I forget what his name is now, but he had his name and they would play together. And she would tell me what he would say.
Mm.
And you could see her literally sitting in her room, and she loved cars, like little, the little Hot
Yeah.
Wheel cars, like my
Yeah.
boys. So we had a ton of Hot Wheel cars. She would tell me and whoever are playing with these Hot Wheel cars, Mommy.
Oh my gosh. See? That's so cool.
And so that's at 3 years old.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See? I
So
love
yeah, I believe children are so open. I've heard so many experiences about
mhm.
children communicating with spirit and
I think because
seeing
they're so
things.
innocent and they just don't judge. And I really think that's why it's so easy for
They're
them to
so
get.
open. Yeah, they're just like,
Yeah.
I mean, I believe probably everybody that has an imaginary friend has seen spirit and been like,
Yeah.
oh, this is my friend.
No, I agree with that. I think that way with my little grandson. I know he
How
does.
old is he now?
He's 8 and he's very I see it. And then even like baby Josie, who is 2, when she was born, her uncle passed away on her mom's side. And when we were layered down in one of those playpen things, man, she would look up and she would just smile and her head would just go all over the place. And I would tell her mom, I'm like, oh, I think your brother's here. I think your brother's here because she would giggle and she would laugh and you just see her eyes just going everywhere. And I'm like, what are you looking at, baby girl? So I just
Wow.
know. And then, yeah, my kids always knew that when I got done with doing Reiki on somebody because the house felt different for them when they came in. And then my husband would, when he comes into our bedroom and it is freezing. It is like an iceberg in our bedroom. Then he's like, I think one of your spirit guides must be here because it is freezing. And to me, it feels comfortable. I'm totally comfortable, but he is just like, he's like, it's freezing. It's absolutely
Wow.
freezing in the room when he walks in sometimes. I'm like, sorry. So now I don't do any of my meditations or anything in the bedrooms anymore. I do it all in my own little room. Like, I feel all
Wow.
my little energy in here. And
Hmm.
like how we were talking about spirit, it is true because I'm not a good feeler. You know, some people like you say that you get the chills. Sometimes I'm not a chilly person, but if I'm doing a really good meditation or something comes through on my journaling in my channel, I get that feeling like someone came up to me and just gave me a hug. And it is just like the cutest little, like, you know what I mean? My shoulders and everything just want to just squeeze in and just be like,
Yeah.
thank you. And it's just that hug. I just love it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
But I
So
am now.
next week we're going to be talking to my friend Nancy Year Out, who just started. Actually, she's been doing a YouTube channel for years, and she actually just started her own TV channel, and it's by
Oh,
subscription, a membership.
yep.
And so I'm excited to have her come on and talk with us.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so it'll
Oh,
be interesting.
exciting.
So that'll be next week. We won't be live.
Okay.
The week after that, I'll be in Oregon. We're going to do a show from Oregon. I'd like to see how the energy is there and how I am in the Oregon energy.
Oh, yeah. Maybe you can
Mhm.
find somewhere kind of cool. You know what I mean? I think what I'm going to do one day is I really want to do this hotel thing. I think I want to go and I want to tape it. I want to tape it and just see what it's like and just see, you know what I mean? Just see. I don't know. Maybe I could do it on a night that we're doing this. And I don't know if we're allowed to talk together and just see if anything happens while we're there and bring people in
Mhm.
on that and just see what
I don't
happens.
see why it wouldn't work as long as you can get in on your phone and you have service. Oh, and Ann and I are talking about doing a retreat. We're going to get into this and
Woo! Yep.
we're going to be in person. I think it's time for us to do this.
I think so too. I think
Mm.
it's time and I think people need it. You know, I understand there's so many beautiful things about doing the circles and everything over the internet, but there's something beautiful about being with a group and tangible of really touching and expressing and feeling and really sharing experiences and experiencing and just teaching and learning and getting everything that everybody needs at that time out. Yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
I'm so
I agree.
excited for that. So join us next week we won't be live, but you can catch the replay on Friday.
Sorry, guys.
I
Sorry.
know. And then the week after we will be live back again.
Yeah.
And not I'll be in Oregon, so I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about yet, but we'll see.
Thanks, Sheree.
Thank you
Thanks.
for coming, Cherie,
Thanks.
for being our biggest
Yes, thanks.
supporter.
I love this information. I learned so much tonight too. Wow.
Always
Yeah.
learning, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. All
All
right.
right.
Cool.
Thank you for joining us and like, subscribe, share our
Yeah.
channel, and we appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you.